Hello everybody, I'm Ham and you watch. Welcome to Ham and Watch, and today a new series of video game reviews. This time very different games. I don't think you could ever find such a various selection of video games, all different, mostly indie, but all different. And unfortunately most of them are not good, not bad, but not great either. So don't expect finding your next favorite game in there, or you know what? Maybe you will. Maybe you'll be thinking different than I do, and maybe you think, you know what? This is the game for me. And that would be great. This is why I do these reviews. And also a good game in there, just in there. Let's start. Alright, first in this series, one very unknown game called Space Rock Breaker. This is a very tiny game. Very tiny. Almost, I don't think I've ever met someone who knew this game. It came out recently, very recently. It's a tiny indie game made by one guy, and it's this whole genre of idle games, incremental games, where basically you don't have to do much, mostly clicking. Sometimes we call them a clicker, and you just get stuff, you upgrade, and you repeat. It's very basic, very basic. This one was not bad. Truthfully, this one surprised me. I really appreciated the fact that it felt genuine. The music was really good. The graphics were totally fine. The gameplay is pleasant. It's a click game. Don't expect much. This is the type of game where one Saturday evening you have nothing to do. You just have like 2-3 hours, and you don't want to dive into a big game, and you think you could finish your little game in this 2-3 hours. This is this type of game. It's very fast to finish. It's very pleasant. It's not much video wise. As I said, it's Asteroids like, if you remember an old game like Asteroids. It's very short. This what you see is what you get. If you're interested in that, fine. For me, I knew what I was getting into, and I liked it fine. I give Space Rock Breaker a 70%, exactly 70%, which means it's a C. It's a very okay game. It's okay. I had fun. It's not a super good game or anything. It's just 70%. It's a C. I'll never remember it, but I had big fun when I played it, and that's about it. Alright, next in this list we have a game that, on the contrary, is quite famous. Was very hyped and famous at some stage. NIER AUTOMATA, whatever you pronounce it. Japanese RPG that was very famous and still famous, considered a classic now by many. This is a game I had for quite a while in my library. I remember when I was living in Japan, everybody was talking about it, and I thought I'll need to play it one day. And I only came back to it recently because I thought I was very late to the party. And alright, NIER AUTOMATA is JRPG. Your typical JRPG where you've got this weird world. It's a mix of sci-fi, it's fantasy, and you've got all this cast of characters, and you've got androids and robots and monsters, and there's lots of stuff. It is all the stuff of Japanese RPG. And that's one of the things that is remarkable in this game, is the fact that it looks like an anthology of the genre. Not only in terms of content, but also of gameplay. Right off the bat, like in the intro of the game, you will experience all sorts of gameplay that you find in old school and more recent Japanese games. It's quite impressive. It's a love letter to that genre. So if you have a lot of baggage in JRPGs, you should definitely try this game at least. Visually, it still looks good. I think it got remastered or something, but it still looks totally fine. A bit empty, a bit shallow, but it looks totally fine. You can totally play it nowadays. Audio-wise, the music is really good. Excellent music in this game. It's a typical thing now in JRPGs. It's been dozens and dozens of years it's like that, but great music in there. The gameplay for me was very repetitive and a bit floaty and boring, sometimes very hard, but most of the time just boring. I didn't care for the gameplay. The content is mostly where this game left me. It left me, I could not continue. Disclaimer, I absolutely have not finished this game. I reached like the first village in the forest, and that's about it. So take my review with a grain of salt, as usual with any review. I didn't finish it. The content bored me. Like, they've got this great world, it's great sci-fi, fantasy, but what they do out of it is just boring. It's just all the cliches of a story with the baddies and the monsters, and the mix of the horror and gruesome with very sexy. There's a lot of fan service in there. Why do I have to be this Lolita android cutesy girl where you can see her underwear and everything is jingling and all that? It's not for me. It's not for me. Some people will enjoy the fan service like that. I did not. It's just, I couldn't care. I couldn't care about the thing, the whole, oh, we are robots and all that. So at the end of the day, when I've played this game and I could not continue, I remember these words from my dear friend who's a professor at Tokyo University. He said, and he's a Japanese otaku, he said, I don't understand why everybody loves this game. And that is very strong for someone who is Japanese, who is otaku, and who's got like something like almost 40 years of Japanese RPGs experience. But lots of the players out there enjoy this game. You should still try it because I think it's still unique. It did some unique things and I wanted to enjoy this game so much. As it is, I'll give it a 64%. It's a C. It's okay. It's okay. 64% is not bad, but it's not good either. Some people will consider this game the best RPG of all time. You should definitely try it. NIER Automata. Alright, next in this series we have GRAVEN, probably GRAVEN, which is an old school looking because it came out recently, like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. It's a FPS, some people call that a boomer shooter. I used to call that a Doom-like. It's a Doom-like. It is more than a Doom-like, it is an Heretic Hexen-like. So if you've played Heretic and Hexen, or if, you should know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, go check out my reviews for those games. This is an old FPS, old looking, because it came out recently, as I said, set in a fantasy universe. It's a mix of shooting, using magic, melee, solving puzzles and completing missions in this seemingly open world, but there's lots of, like, it's a big hub and you go from places to places and there's different hubs. I had a weird relation with this game. When I started, I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is exactly like Hexen and such. And after a few hours, I was a bit bored. I thought it's quite repetitive and I don't understand the level design. And there's lots of problems in this game, especially in terms of game design and a bit of clunkiness and a bit of bugs also. It's not clean. And I kind of gave up. But then I came back and I've played more and more and I finished the first world and I went to the second world and I had a blast. I played for dozens of hours. It was really good. And then I reached a bit before the end a big boss and it was bugged. It was completely bugged and I had looted the whole world of all its resources and I didn't have many ammo and it was just awful. It was awful. So I did not finish this game and I regret it because I had a blast. If you love old school FPS, old Doom likes, you will have a blast. If you love the games like Blood, Hexen, Doom, Quake, what have you, this is exactly a tribute to that. I mean, I think it's published by 3D Realms, so that tells you a bit. This is so old school in its vibe that you have to deal with all the bugs and the clunkiness that come with it. But the level design is really insane. Like, it's a huge level that you keep on going back and forth, so opening new doors and finding new secrets. There's so much in there. And there's an actual story. There's a storyline with dialogues and such. They work like crazy. Tons of secrets and all that. I think it is a very underrated game, and at the same time it shouldn't be overrated just because it's got too much clunkiness and bugs in it. But if you are a sucker for that genre and you've never heard of that, you should totally try it. I give GRAVEN a 73%. It's a B. It's a really good little game, little in scope and because of the design, but the game looks great and it plays great and there's great stuff in there. So 73% B for GRAVEN. Next, we have another game that I have not only not finished, but barely scratched the surface of. ICARUS. ICARUS is, it was very, very famous and hyped at some stage, and it disappointed a lot of people because they always get too excited at the beginning. and it's still going on. It's been 5 years or something now, and it's still going on. So there's tons of content. So when you listen to my review, just know that I've played maybe, I don't know, 5% of the game. There's so much to this game. ICARUS is your typical, at least seemingly typical, survival game where you explore big regions and you fight monsters and you loot resources and you need to build your base and you need to craft and all that. It's a typical open world survival game. It's set in sci-fi, but with a mix of yeah, like fantasy, medieval fantasy. But it's sci-fi. At the end of the day, it's just sci-fi. You're on another planet and you need to deal with stuff and all sorts of hardship on a planet, and you need to upgrade your stuff. You loot to tons of stuff, and you've got your base, and you need to harvest, and it's all that thing. And by just with just my explanation, you should know by now why I was not a big fan of this game. It's just because I'm tired of that genre. The whole open world survival crafting game, I'm tired of it. Even in a game like ICARUS, where there is so much content. The base game is huge. There's already tons of stuff to do, but they also released like an insane amount of content for this game in terms of DLCs. So you should try the game. I think it's cheap most of the time. And if you really like it, if you're a fan of games like Ark and such, all those games that you see out there, Valheim and Shrouded and all that, if you love those games, you should try this game. It's huge. I don't know, Conan Exiles and all those games. But you should know that the more you want and the more you'll have to buy DLCs, if that's okay with you. And it's not okay with me. I don't like that practice. But anyway, ICARUS is impressive in what it wants to do. It's very ambitious. I'm not a huge fan of the setting, though. I must say this sci-fi thing would work more with me in a game like Subnautica and such. I'm more of that type, or very hard SF looking. Here it was a weird mix, a lot of nature based. Like it still feels like you're playing a game like Enshrouded, but in space. It was weird. It's still boring for me, but a lot of people will love that. I've got a friend who loves it, and playing with him just made it a bit better. It's always that type of game. If you're a very solo player, maybe you'll still enjoy it, but I think it's a game that you still have to play with 2-3 friends, you know, to have your base and explore. And there's a lot of story, but it's mostly to progress through the mechanisms of the game. ICARUS, I give it a 62%. It's okay. It's okay. I can't give it less because it's not bad, but I don't want to give it more either because subjectively I was bored. It's still boring for me. They did not make it so unique and so different that I would want to continue. So if you love survival exploration and yeah, crafting and all that, try ICARUS. 62%. It's a C. All right, and finally in this list we have this time a very famous game, a tiny game though, an indie tiny game, but that I don't think I need to present it anymore. Vampire Survivors. Yes, I already did my written review for this game, but I needed a game where I give a good rating to compensate. All right, so that's why I picked Vampire Survivors, because also I wanted to check recently what they did in terms of additional content, and they released paid DLCs and free DLCs, and there's a lot of content for this game. Vampire Survivors is this little game that came out, what, 5-8 years ago, and that completely exploded the genre of bullet hell to the point that now we need to separate it between bullet hell and bullet heaven and blah blah blah. It's just a little game where you play your character in the middle of the screen and you move, and there's millions of enemies that come at you and you need to explode them by just moving your stick. There's no button to press in this type of game. You just move around and you hope to get a better weapon and upgrade your weapon, and you get additional weapons and new tools, and then eventually you die. You upgrade a few things because it's like a roguelite of sort, and then you go back and so on and repeat. It is very basic. And I remember trying this game at first and thinking, this is it? There's not much. I don't understand the hype. And yeah, after 50 hours, I was like, well, strike me dead. I'm still in this game. And after, I don't know, 200 hours, I'm like, yeah, this game is awesome. This game is awesome. I love it. I think it's really, really good. I can't believe that I'm enjoying a game that looks like a smartphone game. It looks like a phone game in a way, but it's made by one guy. It was made by one guy back in the day. Now it's a team, and it's really good. It's really good. It's if you see that and you think this looks dumb, then maybe you shouldn't try. I looked at it and I thought this can't be great, and I still was curious and I tried, and I love it. I think there's so much intricate mechanisms in there that you can have lots of fun and explore the mechanisms of upgrading this thing. But if I upgrade that, it means I can't upgrade this, and what's the perfect combination between these three weapons and all that. It's really neat. It's really neat. Now that Vampire Crawlers came out, I think Vampire Crawlers is still better than Vampire Survivors, spoiler alert, but I still think it's one of the best games of all time. In that genre, which is a very, very niche and very limited genre, I agree. I'm not saying it's the best game of all time, I'm just saying it's one of the best in that genre. If you want to try a bullet hell, bullet heaven sort of thing, you should still try it because it's a classic, this one. Yeah, Vampire Survivors, I give it an 88%. It's an A. It's great. It is great. I finished this game when there was barely any DLC. I had all the achievements. I was happy, and then they released more stuff, and I did it again. And now they released like 2 or 3 more content additional. It's just there's so much to do in this game, but video-wise, it looks what it is. Music is fantastic. It's a great little game that everybody should try if you're interested in that genre. Vampire Survivors, 88%. And that's it for today. Yeah, very, very different games. I hope you realize that, and I think you should definitely find something in there that fits your needs. Lots of those games, I didn't enjoy them particularly, but I think it's still very interesting to try them. I did not finish most of them, but it does not matter. My reviews are here to try games. I never judge them in their entirety. So if you're intrigued by some games like NIER Automata or ICARUS and all that, you should definitely look into them. I still think there's a reason why I review them, right? If it was awful games, I would never even talk about them truthfully. So yeah, I hope you find some great stuff in there. I will see you next week for a new series of videos. Bye bye.